All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Disposition explained. The truth about disposing contract. I spoke about that a little bit just now, but it takes a while. I'll give you, when I started, my first deal was $10,000 exactly. I went through the disposition by myself. I would definitely say there's elements of luck in it. But not exactly because it was 6 months before I closed my first deal after started what's English after I started marketing. It was about 6 months. So, but I was lucky enough uh, to to go through the disposition of my first deal by myself. But by the time I was closing that deal, in that pipeline, I had three other deals, and I was smart enough to partner with my mentor at the time. His name is Anthony. I partner with him. I just basically say, hey, just handle it. Let me focus on the marketing because I realized at that time that even though we say it's 5 stages, 3 processes, 5 stages, 3 processes, data, contact, leads, contract, close deals, right? Going through those 5 stages, going through the process, which is marketing, acquisition, and disposition. Marketing by itself is a full-time endeavor. Now, when I say that, I don't mean time. I'm talking about more so understanding the process and being able to manage it. Setting it up and managing it. It doesn't take more than 4 hours a week if you're doing it right. But sometimes the learning curve will consume a lot of your time. Trying to figure out what is what. If you don't have any experience, the learning curve will consume a lot of time. Okay. So, of course, as you can imagine, in the beginning, I was going through a lot. I was testing different things. I had doubts. I had things that I stopped before they worked. I had things that I quit before they worked. So every time I stopped it, I had to start all over again. Right. So, of course, this marketing, there is, so at that point, the next 3 deals after that first one, as they were in the pipeline, I just basically outsourced. You call it outsourcing. I outsourced the disposition to my partner, my mentor at the time, because I didn't want to make any mistake. And the reality is that before they became contracts in the pipeline, there were many leads that had fell through. Maybe I made a boo boo, maybe I said the wrong thing, maybe for whatever reason, I just felt like, what I felt, let me stack some money first before I start to dabble by myself. So I outsource the disposition to him. So the disposition is the process of going from a contract, once you get a contract signed by sellers, to a closed deal. And you want that process to be as fast as humanly possible, especially if there's no negotiation of short sales. If there's negotiation of short sales, you already set the expectation that the bank is going to take their time talking to the agents. So that takes a while. So, and they already know they can't rush. But if it's a situation that's urgency and there's a real deal that you've managed to strike, then you want to be able to do that properly. And it shouldn't take that long if you have the right numbers. Okay. So finding the deal is half the battle. Disposition is where you actually get paid. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Disposition means the process of going from the stage of contract to a closed deal. And you need people. Like in any other marketing endeavors, you need people, right? You have people, systems, you have process, people, systems, product systems, or product message, marketing message. Okay, people. You need people, and then system that connects the people to value, right? You have people, you have value, you bring in people, and you have a system that connects them. Another way of saying that is the traditional. You have the value, that's the marketing message, right? And then you have the media, right? The system that connects. So disposition by itself is marketing operation on itself, but probably more so perspective because you have it's called a contract. If you don't job with your AE, you have a contract, so you need to get the right people seeing it as soon as possible. You need to put down money, you need to have title work started, and you want to go to closing. So the very first step for me is I find buyer. The second, once I find a buyer, we'll write the contract. There's a second piece of contract if you're doing double closing. And if you're doing an assignment, there's still a second piece of an assignment contract that will assign the original contract to the end buyer. And you want to send those documents straight to your favorite title company. Hopefully, an investor-friendly title company that already understands assignment deals. Okay, there are many, many of them out there. Okay, and once you go through the title work. The title work costs money, so you don't want to send contracts to the title company unless you make sure that there's actually money. So meaning there's a deposit, the earnest money deposit, they call it EMD, from the end buyer ready to go. Okay, you send that all together, wire the money into the escrow for the lawyers, and then they can start the title work to make sure that the title is clean of any kind of what they call cloud, like as in like debts against the property. They just want to make sure it's clean, that everything is good, that the new owner is protected from any past, they call it encumbrances, problems. Let's just call it problems. Okay, I don't know the big words. So you avoid disposition bottlenecks, as they call it. Okay. So a couple of things that I wanted to point out here again. Speed matters. You find a buyer. When it comes to disposition, speed matters. Okay. You pre-qualify your buyer by making sure they put their money where their mouth is. There's a lot of wholesalers out there that are not they call them straw, not is it straw buyers? It's straw buyers. And you want to be careful with those people. Some of them can actually bring you good deals, but you just want to make sure that you don't lock up a contract with people that have no money. If they want to go and bring you a buyer, say, yeah, sure, why not? But nothing is solid until there's actual money, right? And that's the best way to pre-qualify your buyers. Make sure they actually have money, they're players, they're ready to go. They see a good deal, they're ready to go. Or they say, well, your numbers are a little bit off. That can happen legitimately. Bad pricing, yes. Like I said, everything starts from a good ARV. Okay? Then follow up. Make sure you're following up with people. There shouldn't be a need for too hard of a follow-up. If they don't have access to money, that can create a bunch of bottleneck. They can actually give you a deposit check and don't have access to the rest of the money. That's also no good. But you should be able to detect those and have terms on contracts so that at least terms of the contract can expire if they don't have access to the rest of the money. But transparency is key. Hey, just tell me, tell me what you're working with. You're working with a hard money lender. Are you working with a private money lender? Exactly where's the money coming from? Okay, all right. When do you want me to follow up? How soon can I follow up? Okay, you write those things down. Eventually, once you start growing the business, you do want what they called transaction coordinator to do some of this follow up. But I did all of that myself. 31 deals in, I was doing it by myself. But if I was to do it all over again, by the time I got to about 20 deals, I'll be sharing all that money with people and have a system. But that's in hindsight. So that's how you get this deal moving fast. You just want to make sure that you're taking care of. I said quite a few things in this segment here, but the key thing here, understand that disposition by itself is another part of your operation. It's like marketing. So you have marketing, disposition. Disposition is just as big as marketing because you want to make sure you're talking to the right people and not waste. Okay? You have a long way. If you have about that, I mean, your buyers list should not be stagnant. You should always be bringing new people onto your buyers list as well. Okay. So now that you've seen how to convert this list and these deals to fast payday, okay, and long ones and long term, right? Let's zoom out a little bit and talk about the best source of motivated sellers. Let's dive in a little bit onto that as well. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. This is Olat, my Empire Pro, your favorite real estate coach. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your Empire starts today. I've written 3 game-changing books. Download them free at myempirepro.com/book. I'm also looking for partners, money, time, or anywhere in between. If that's you, visit myempirepro.com/partners. And
If you want to try the all-in-one PropStream software for free, go to myempireco.com/PropStream. Stay tuned. Let's build your $10,000 per month real estate empire.